Far enough, right?
You used to be a long time ago. Chris Munkin. I'm curious how many users are actually.
Far enough.
All right. All right, getting to start with the allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silence for part of the citizens. Thank you, guys. Start off to be a little roll call. Sean. Nick here. Brian here. Dan here. And so Rick show Commissioner French is over in Europe getting the latest OSHA proposals from Holland, Netherlands, Belgium, and points east of the continental United States. And Chris Wilson is also used for a commitment.
I just would note that it's obviously that those two are the big draws because the audience is pretty slim tonight.
Sorry, we're lacking the entertainment tonight.
Apparently, you get the headliners are not here tonight. So.
Is there anything for public session on the agenda items? Public session for agenda items only. Hearing none, we're right into the district building report, Mr. Casino.
Right, last month, we had quite an active month with a lot of progress this month. Second floor bathrooms are completed with the tiling and all that kind of stuff. They're waiting for paint and ceilings up there to finish that off with the lighting and that kind of thing. The first floor bathrooms are probably 90% done. As of today, I would think a day or two they'll be done downstairs for tiling. Then that'll be ready for paint, ceilings, and that kind of thing. But we're still waiting for door bucks downstairs so that the people doing the tiling can get their tile up to the bucks. And we're waiting for that other smaller buck that was on that small wall that we bought or we built there right in that hallway there. So those three door bucks we're waiting on yet, and the contractor did say last week he was gonna have them in soon. I don't know what that means, but. So as we progressively went forward, they were doing some outside work today, getting ready for curbs. And for that concrete pad for the patio area. Now, they did mention it may happen tomorrow, but I'm thinking it's gonna more happen Wednesday because they have to have a testing company on site for concrete. And Gary Clark was arranging that to make sure that all went to the game plan. The electrician, plumber, sprinkler, they're as far as they can go right now, kind of because of they're just waiting on a few things. The electrician is waiting on a date from New York State Electric and Gas to do the shutdown. So they can do the changeover on the switches for the generator and all that. And what else? Plumbers are just waiting more or less for a finish. And the sprinkler gentlemen are waiting for that generator to leave so they can build their head in that what's going to be the sprinkler room. But they're all waiting and they're just ready to go. What else? They started spraying primer upstairs today. I was surprised when that started happening, but I guess I was reassured that even though they're priming, everything else will get cleaned and proper way when the ceiling gets painted. So we were kind of just anxious to see how that whole thing was gonna go so they don't blow the dirt on the new paint.
Right.
And they still owe us a mock-up of the walls for the how the walls and everything are gonna be downstairs or on the second floor, I'm sorry. With the colors and all that kind of thing. So they owe us that mock-up. And there was a few emails getting shot back and forth this afternoon that the GC was a little confused about that, but we'll figure that out now when Gary's back on site. But other than that, I think we're getting there. And the last thing that Bob just mentioned to me a few minutes ago, everything with the gas is getting, addressed right now. He was in conference with some people from Grid today, so if he wants to touch on that, he can, but it looks like it's starting to go forward.
That's good. That's good to see progress finally going. It was, started off slow and they still in August.
I mean, we're probably 4 weeks behind, I would guess maybe 5. But we're making progress now, so.
Good to get that done there. I appreciate that. Commissioner, you guys should be a spreadsheet in here with some, we're going to Bob, want to speak to the spreadsheet a little bit.
Sure. So, as promised from last month's meeting, when Ed Anker was here and we went through the incidental budget worksheet and tried to identify what monies were allocated for what areas. So I'll go through the list. And then after the list, I'll just point to on the second page. And I also gave that to you in Dropbox, a hard copy, so you wouldn't have to go back and forth. So the first 6 items 1 through 6 are for the kitchen. Combinations of reach-in refrigerators, single door, a double door, reach-in refrigerator, single door reach-in freezer, a swinging glass door that will be used immediately outside the kitchen. That's going to be like for beverages that the members will have access to. Item number 5 is just a wall shelf for in the kitchen. Item 6 is a microwave for inside the kitchen. So these are all the best prices that we can find at this point. We did buy a lot of stuff from the Webb's restaurant store when we moved in here. It's not high-end commercial stuff. It's like middle commercial stuff, but it's good and it's affordable. Item 7 is 2 85-inch TVs. One will be the main TV that will be if you're in the main training meeting room area and you're looking to the, say, the west wall to the left side of the door going down into the apparatus bay. That's going to be the main TV, an 85-inch TV. That's training TV. One of the other TVs is for the members area, which is where the bar cooler used to be. That will go over on that wall, which we'll call, say, the north wall, just for purposes close enough. Item 8 is the 43-inch TV that is going to be in the conference room of the executive offices, which is an extension of the old chief's office now. That used to be the chief's office, is now the conference area, which was extended. Item 9 is wall mounts, and those are for the 2 85-inch. Item 10 is the defibrillator that will get mounted on the wall in the meeting training area with the display sign in a case. Item 11, I had sent this around to the board previously. This is for on-target landscaping to do the hill that goes to the property, abuts to the ambulance and goes down to the property on Main Ave that's next to the ambulance. And this will also take care of immediately behind the new stick-built shed, that part that goes down the hill, that will all have the riprap. And then the part that is more between the 2 property lines on Main Ave, the ambulance and that house, will be a little prettier stone. It'll be like a number 5 stone. So it doesn't, because we don't need riprap there. The ambulance is already committed to pay for half of the cost of what that portion is. I think it was $4,500. And we probably own a little bit more than 50%, but spoke to the ambulance folks. They said, no, 50-50, we'll give you 50% of what the cost of that is. We had spoke about that a long time ago. So that project will get done. The Item 12, 60-inch Maltese cross. What the company and the committee has opted to propose is instead of putting a sign on the new lower landscape, hardscape wall, is to put a Maltese cross similar to what we have. It's a little bit smaller than what we have on the front of the building. And that's what they want to do. Now, this will also be LED, it'll be backlit, and you can also change the colors. There's some talk about, like we may want to make it red or blue or whatever the case may be. And that would be in place of them putting an actual sign down on the lower landscaping area. And then we can go back to all this. Item 13, the Plymouth vent repairs, upgrades, and service. So this would include, there's some problems over there. Myself, Tony Milanese, and individual from his office, and Joe, we went through the whole system. We identified all of the shortcomings of the system and some of the upgrades that needed to take place with it, and then do a full PM on the system. That will also include district-wide. They're going to do a PM district-wide on everything. They gave us a really good price. They will also take out a service temporarily, that one drop that goes over the gear lockers right now, because it's not needed right now. It's best to take it out. The system will actually function better. We'll just mothball that. It can be very easily we can put it on if we needed to down the future. You also see in there that there's a quote for a new fan of like $9,800. The fan is working fine. There's no reason to replace that fan. Everybody came to the same conclusion. Why should we replace it when there's nothing wrong with it? So if we could do something at the end of the project and earmark money down the road. But as Tony said, that fan, it could last you another 8 years, could last you 5 years, it could last you 2 months. Okay. The point is it's working fine. But I got a quote on that. And then item 14, and that is all the furniture and furnishings from Turnkey. We had originally got a quote from Accent Furniture that was like $140,000. I think it might even been a little bit more. Then we went with Turnkey. The committee met with them a couple times. They've gone back and forth. You'll see in that quote, there's a couple things that they didn't get a price on. They didn't get a price on a podium yet because that has to be new. That's probably going to be $400 or $500 for a good podium. The other idea, and I think it's going to be too pricey, but they were looking to try and get the rolling chairs that are going to be for the training room that kind of stop. Okay. But they would have to buy those new, and Bree from Turnkey, she kind of told me like they're about $350 a chair. So I said, well, get a quote on it. But Joe and his committee, they understand that that's probably not something that the budget will allow. This is sort of still a work in progress. However, we have gone back and forth on this quote. My only suggestion would be right now with that quote is to give us a little bit of allowance on that, so that if there's some other changes that need to be made, I wanted to get something to you for this meeting. So I'd say we're like 95% on this, Joe.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
But there might be a couple other tweaks that we would like to make. And that would be maybe replacing a desk to a file cabinet, stuff like that. But I think $4,255 to even it off to $60,000 would be sufficient. Now, you see in there,
Turnkey's the place open.
yes, that's the place that's going to be opening right here. Yep.
I'm just curious.
Mhm.
This is all new stuff though, right? Because they do
It's-
sell pre-owned.
Some of it's pre-owned and some of it's new. Okay, it's a combination.
With the pre-owned stuff, I can actually look at it to make sure that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did look at some stuff.
Yep.
That was available. But some of the locking chairs that they did have, that we did like, they didn't have the quantity that we needed for the meeting room. That's where that other price came, so they're always buying and selling. So the guy was going to Kansas City to buy a bunch of tractor trailer loads. And we're hoping maybe they'll have some refurbished stuff coming back from that. The used stuff isn't really used stuff. I mean, it's not like a used car where, you know,
Yeah.
but it's nice, it's in really nice shape,
Yeah.
so.
All right, you just want, you know, you don't want to do all this stuff work and then.
No, it-
Like you got stuff on the run.
No, this,
Because I think
really
some of the
nice.
jets that she had proposed, that she showed us and said that were used, you couldn't tell, you know? So,
I just want to now just point you to the second page of that, you know, you have the spreadsheet and then the second page just to look at item number 14. So on furniture, fixtures and equipment, there was a total of $100,000 that was allocated. Now that encompasses a lot of stuff. So that's why the furniture and furnishings would take up, you know, about 60% of that. And then, you know, just for instance, you have items 1 through 6 that would be coming out of that. You have item 7 that would be coming out of that. Item 9 that would be coming out of that. Item 10 that will be coming out of that. Items 11, 12, 13, they come out of different line items on here, because if you go to the last page of that, you'll see item 46. There was Plymouth vent upgrades. There's $25,000 allocated. Site work, there was $10,000. Site work for the landscape, and there was $20,000. So that 87,000, as you see it now, is not cutting all into that 100,000 of FF&E, okay? So we're doing really well, okay, as far as that part of the budget goes. Also, item number 4, one of item number 7, and one of item number 9 will be the fire department's responsibility. Okay, and Joe and his crew they're all aware of that, because we're trying to keep things consistent the way the board did with the Freesville here. It's the same thing over there. So, I mean, I think we're in good shape. There's not a lot of other stuff to consider here, but there are a few other things we're working on, and that's the memorial area wall lettering. We just couldn't get a quote from AJ's for this meeting. And again, we will look to try and do some upgrades to the S2 door system and the NGFT server system if some money allows to do that. And I think it will, and it'll make sense to do that.
Any questions for Bob?
I found that I didn't give you the numbers for 7, 8, 9 on this sheet.
Yes, I have, which,
It's like $56,000.
yes, we know that that's gonna be high, right?
Yeah, because it's the 13 to 7,500, the other 2 are zeros.
Yeah, right, so we already know that there's a lot of, you know, extra money in there too, right? So I mean, all in all, we're doing good. We know that on the change order side, we know that we're running a little bit tight there. I mean, we're probably gonna use up most of that, but that, you know, when you're in a renovation project, sometimes you just don't know what you don't know.
I do have one question. I think it's item number 1.
Yes.
I thought we're doing one commercial double door refrigerator and like a normal, like some refrigerator here. Is there a reason we're doing a second commercial one?
that was a pretty long talk when we had our committee together. And we did have at one point like a standard GE refrigerator that would have been like a home style. But when we put the room was together, there was 2 people that thought that they needed the larger one, the second larger one, because they're convinced that the lakes auxiliary and the other kitchen committee are going to be doing more and more meals, you know, as a fundraiser, so they chose that.
Now, when the drawings were done for the kitchen, yeah, they laid out appliances, did they figure for the bigger size and like
Well, when we had,
power?
the number's gonna slip me right now, but say we had 144 inches or whatever it was. They took those numbers by the refrigerators and made like a 29.5, 29.5, and that 39.5. That fit in there with like 4 inches of spare. So the other one that was the other commercial or residential style was a 35 inch, would have been done the same job, but it had a bottom freezer in it that made ice. And I was pushing for that, but a bunch of the other committee just didn't think they needed that, so they were going this other direction, like I'm saying, so. They think they're gonna have a working kitchen over there and they want the extra refrigerator. And they know if they don't use the big one, if they use the big one, they shut the little one down. If they use the little one, they shut the big one down. But that was, about 27 hours of my life I'll never get back, so.
It's, again, it comes down to, spacing size. I mean, looks like the money is kind of there, but
So, I mean, and I'm still open to suggestions if, we need to have, and I know you guys don't want to do this, if we need to have the board to sit down and try to, make sense of it with the people that I'm working with, I'll invite you over.
wasn't the end of the problem here, we've got two now, we're in June. And delayed us till July. Stuff doesn't come in on time, probably. That's,
In here. Does the fire district own both of those, or does the fire company own?
The fire company owns the small, the residential style refrigerator freezer, and then the fire district owns the single refrigerator and the single.
How this is
freezer.
kind of your report there.
Well,
They're running it.
the one that they're gonna own is the one that's gonna go on the outside of the kitchen, and that's like their members refrigerator that members will be able to go in and grab soda and water and things like that.
Which one is that?
That's number 4. So they're gonna have 2 refrigerators. Yeah, they're gonna have 2 refrigerators in the kitchen, and there is enough room for it. As Joe said, there is enough room for it.
And that's kind of what, and I think this is how they got the idea too. When, Ed and his group put the kitchen together, they had 3 units in that wall space. And then it was, you choose the one that'll fit in that space. So,
you guys getting concerned, is you guys okay with that?
I mean, it probably all equals the same, right? You know, 2 smaller fridges, 1 big fridge.
A little bit more, I mean, a little bit more, you got that type of 1,000, but I mean, otherwise.
and to be honest with you, I mean, and I speak the truth there. I wasn't in favor of that. I was in favor of that other smaller residential style because it had the smaller ice box in the lower end that made ice. So if we could shut the big one off and we use the small one. The difference in, and the difference in the price between the commercial and the other one was a few $100s. And I mean, I know the money, the money to me is like more valuable than that bigger refrigerator, but you know, a couple $100 we could have saved on that, but
I guess my opinion for $200 or $300. I mean, every dollar counts, but if you got a group of guys that are, and gals that are excited about it and looking, maybe having some fundraisers and events, which helps morale, which helps people come around. Pick your battles. So I think it's not.
I wish I was, ice machines are anything like that going into the kitchen.
we have,
Is that separate
we have
or
one.
yeah?
They already have it.
All right, that's fine,
Yep.
I just didn't see it there.
Yeah, because we're repurposing that ice.
Yeah, and I think that makes like 100 pounds of ice overnight or whatever. It's not huge, but you know.
So it sounds like we just need a couple resolutions. Are you looking to approve all this? But I want to do
I was
14 separate for the dollar amount.
Well, what I was looking to do is if you could do for the, furniture is up to 60,000. So that would be a total of 91,584.52.
You're 1,000% sure this is all gonna fit, right? That's,
Oh, yeah.
That's your some difference.
yeah,
What, how it's different on, it's 110, it's different kind of.
No, everything's 110 and there's definitely, that's all sufficient.
So I guess we do a resolution to approve this as we see, you granted, that's 60,000, that's very the higher end. But spend up to 91,584.52.
so there's a motion or a second.
Well, Dan, slightly each other. Resolution by Dan, second by Nick, roll call. Nick.
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Dan.
Aye.
Carries. Excellent. Deal for the building. Our presence report, Chief Mason on the line, or is it no?
No report, there's nothing submitted either.
Excellent. I guess we'll go right over to President Steer to free soul. How you doing tonight?
Good evening, doing great. We have no new applications for members, however, a member that was approved last month, his name's Alan French, submitted a resignation from joining. He believes he can't commit to being a firefighter, and he just, after speaking to the training folks and everything, he just realized it might be too much for his lifestyle, so he backed out. So, I sent an email about indicating that. As you can see, when you probably walked in, our new composite photo and group photo are out in the hallway there. Tomorrow, Mark Lefty and I are gonna take the composite, and then the group photo, we're gonna get framed. Individual photos were issued to our own members. They seem very nice, so we're pleased with that. It'll be a nice update. We're gonna try and stay on like a 10-year cycle with a composite photo. See how that goes. So every 10 years we're documenting the membership is, but that's fine. I attended a recruitment event at Columbia High School with a group here on May 21st. It was sponsored by East Greenbush Fire Department. They tried to have as many fire departments as possible attend that are within the East Greenbush School District. Unfortunately, only 3 departments attended, ourselves, Nassau, and East Greenbush. I spoke to the coordinators and the district officials about what they might want to do next year, similar to what I spoke about last month out at South Colony School District with the South Colony Fire Departments in the town over there. They were very receptive to it, so I think what we're going to be doing is in the fall, we're going to try and get all the fire departments in the East Greenbush School District together, formulate a plan to make it more interactive for the students so that when they come outside, they'll be right in front of the school. Principal said you can have the whole front of the school parking lot here and make it as interactive as you want, and I will make sure the kids can come out. So we have good support there. So it most likely be an event sometime in the spring. We have to work around their curriculum, but so far the district's 100% behind that concept. And I think being more interactive rather than just having a table in the hallway by the cafeteria, we're going to get more interest. I mean, I think our table had the most interest because we had Emily Peary, a couple of younger members there. We brought in our gear and students started trying on the gear, and then they were timing themselves how fast they could put the gear on. So there was some interest, but not enough that they wanted to join. So
Right. It sounds like it's a good thing. You got to dedicate time because those kids are brushing between classes too. So
we did have a health and gym class come through, which was good. And that's kind of how Colony did it, was either it was a study hall, gym class, health class, or lunch period. And so that's how they got their 75 to 100 kids each session come out. So hopefully that'll be something next year. Art Stewards, he's a member of the Red Knight Motorcycle Association. They had submitted a application to use the pavilion on July 27th. It was already pre-approved by the department and the district. He has to change that date, so I've submitted a new building use form He's looking to use the pavilion on September 21st, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the same exact purposes. So you've got that application. Hopefully, you know, you guys can approve that. The department did it. DFD is planning to attend the town hall food truck night this Wednesday to try and have a recruitment table, weather pending. I also sent an invite to Wine president and chiefs, and they pushed it to their committee. So if they have somebody available, they can have a table maybe right near where we're going to be, trying to get town residents involved in the fire services. Our recruitment committee also is they're in communication with the Valley Pack Stadium, where we'd like to maybe have a truck out front with a table and greet people as they come into a couple games. So that's a work in progress. And also there was talk about us trying to do recruitment down at Alex's Diner. They have a car show. So recruitment people are working, and hopefully we can jointly work together for both departments and have tables at some of these events and beneficial to us all. The preschool is preparing for our 2024 mail fund drive. It's going to be starting in September. We're going to be using the same vendor, Municipal Marketing Services, as previous years. We're on the third year of a 3-year contract with them. And we anticipate that should go rather smoothly. So I don't think there's any action that you formally have to take other than just a notification. Is that right?
When we, my fire company
District,
had on,
our department.
you get the letter and the
Yeah.
mailing set and the board.
Take a look at it.
Yeah, so we formally approve it.
Yeah.
So we do Linesville.
Sure. So we'll do that. We're working on the letter now, so we'll get that to you. I was contacted by the marketing director of marketing coordinator for Price Chopper Market 32. As we know, they're going to be opening up their new store where ShopRite was up at Van Rensselaer Square. They asked us to have an honor guard at the grand opening event, which is going to be Friday, the 14th, at about 9 a.m. I've got people signed up already, and we'll be handling an honor guard there. She tried LaSalle, but apparently their students are in testing and they're not able to participate. So our crew will be going there on that day. We attended the town Memorial Day Parade, town wreath-laying ceremonies, and the City of Rensselaer Parade. I wasn't around on the holiday weekend, but I was told all events went well, and we had good representation. So it went well there. And also Chief Food's going to be talking about an anniversary parade that Pleasantdale Fire Department has invited us to. It's going to be on July 13th. I think the chief might have more details on that. So other than that, that's it for me.
Oh, thank you. Any questions for President Speaker? Oh, well, we got this here, both had a chance to look at this basically change the date. So we just make a motion to provide Nick. I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Sign us off with a new date. Thank
I'll
you.
let them know.
All right. Approval of prior months minutes. If we have a chance to review issues. There no issue. Motion to approve the prior months minutes.
Like motion.
Motion by Nick, seconded by Dan. Awesome. All in favor? Aye. Carries. Treasurer's report. Sean.
Here comes the bankruptcy review and signature. Money market account has a balance of $1,456,788.20. Of that amount, $620,154 is for the general fund. Capital reserve equipment, $694,711. Capital reserve building, $104,255, and repairs, $63,495. Earning interest year to date, $17,815. The bond fund for the WFD capital project had a reconciled balance of $2,112,739.15, earning interest of $27,960 year to date interest. Almost $5,200 for the month in interest. The checking account had a reconciled balance of $113,151.25, earning $308 worth of interest for the month and $1,522 for the year in interest. All the bank statements, excuse me, and reconciliations are attached for your consideration, along with a listing of all the checks that were cut during the month of May, check number, the vendor, dollar amount listed on that. Also, there's a report of year-to-date activity compared to the general fund, or excuse me, to the budget for the general fund, with the final 4 pages of the report.
Excellent. Any questions for Sean? Need a resolution to approve the treasurer's report? I'll make it. Okay. Resolution by Nick, second by Dan. Roll call.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Dan,
Excellent, resolution carries. So the current month's invoice it is. I believe, Dan, you had the pleasure of reviewing these. Got no questions. I did that all yesterday. Excellent. Resolution to approve. Or actually, it's just a motion. Resolution, there you go. Yeah, you are, Dan.
I'll make the resolution.
Resolution by Nick, second by Dan, roll call.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Excuse me.
Okay, correspondence received.
Received from New York State Insurance Fund. We received a notice that our group manager is changing. Really doesn't mean anything other than a very small premium hike. It's probably about $25. We were in a special classification that earned dividends, and there wasn't enough people in that particular group. So they're disbanding that group. We're still within NICIF. We received VFIS spring and summer news.
Get rid of 187?
What's that?
We get rid of the whole group 187?
Yeah, it's just apparently there wasn't enough people in it to make it profitable, because we used to get a little dividend back on that. And yeah, I think our premium is going to go up about $25, $30 total because of it.
And no dividend.
Right, and no dividend, right, correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Right, and correspondence sent.
Yep, we sent the letter to the individual down on Stacy Way. The chairman sent the letter. I sent that out for him about that EMS response, indicating that DFD in the district never responded to that call. And the ambulance kind of had the same problem, that there was no way to really contact that person other than send a letter, because they never gave an email address or a phone number. As I know, Chief French was handling it from North Greenwich Ambulance. And we did send out the letter to OSHA. I got that packaged up for
Yes,
Chairman McCray,
thank you. Appreciate that.
and we received acknowledgement of it too.
That's good to know. Old business, I have nothing in Dropbox for old business. New business, nothing in Dropbox for new business. So on page 2. Even number month, Chief Littlefield, WFD Chief's report.
Show person go first. All right, we should have our statistics for the month, keeping it steady as usual. We also have the purchases, big purchases for gear, involving gear, which is pretty substantial. Things to talk about. So, last Tuesday before our monthly meeting, we had a nice little visit from our neighbors at Jack and Jill Preschool. The kids there are small kids, right? And with all the commotion going on at the firehouse, they had a concern. And their lead teacher there, Miss Lexi, brought it to my attention. The kids were concerned that the fire trucks weren't gonna have the firehouse because of all the commotion, right? So what the kids decided to do is they actually had a snack raiser with all the families. And they came up for a visit on Tuesday to see what was going on. So we reassured them that the fire truck still had a house and that the fire trucks were still gonna be right behind them. But we showed them downstairs what was going on, we showed them upstairs what was going on, and they had a pretty good time. So that was pretty nice to, keep up with the neighbors. Principal Toomey from Gardner Dickinson reached out. They are holding the annual field day activities on June 25th. So she asked the fire department to participate. Basically what she's looking to do is some sort of sprinkler type setup. So if it's a hot day, the kids have something to cool off with. We're also trying to put together some sort of fun activity competition for the kids, depending on the space up there. We did, speak to Mr. Henkel from the town that using the hydrant up there would be okay as long as we don't connect to the 2000 GPM tunnel. So we have that going for us.
Want to give us some of our phone?
I don't think that will go over well. There's a review behind the school. Okay. Let's see, we participated in the Memorial Day Parade with the town. For those who weren't aware, or as a reminder, we did have past Chief Bill Gummer as the Grand Marshal this year. We did use the Gray Ghost as his official transport vehicle. We had a lot of participation from outside departments, like way outside. Like we're talking Hoosick Valley, Melrose, the Skodats, not people who usually come to our little parade here in town. And the background behind that was, we put the word out that Gummer was going to be the Grand Marshal. Everyone knows Gummer has a lengthy service history in this county when he was Fire Car 2. So the Rensselaer County Fire Chiefs Association, headed by President Gary Roberts, they put it out to the membership to get it out to all the memberships that, hey, this is what's going on. If you can, that'd be great. So when we approached Town Hall as the lead of the parade, the tail of the parade was in front of Little Big Bets. We haven't done that in quite some time. So that was impressive. But afterwards, with the parade, I penned an email to President Roberts I'd like to share with the board. President Roberts and members of the Rensselaer County Fire Chiefs Association, on behalf of the Wednesday Fire Department membership and the North Greenwich community, thank you for the support shown for Chief Gummer during the North Greenwich Memorial Day Parade. I served as his chauffeur on the Gray Ghost. During the lineup process, Chief Gummer was impressed to see the many fire departments and emergency services that kept rolling in. I haven't seen him that excited since his Patriot Honor flight to Washington, D.C. Your efforts truly made his day. Thank you, Chief Adam Littlefield, Wednesday Fire Department. Gummer was also very popular with the seniors, mostly the female seniors. I don't know why that was, but that was. So it was really good time, and it was a great honor to be his driver for the day. Let's see, what else we got going on? The BIPO blended learning that's going on at the Rensselaer County Emergency Services Training Center. We have 3 dates that Wynottsville is going to be in support of that class. July the 2nd, we're hoping to have Truck 42 there. July the 17th is EMT personnel support, and July the 26th will be 427 to support that class. Let's see. Another thing we had happen, Vanderheiden, for those who aren't aware, better weather usually escalates the Vanderheiden issues. So we went up there the other night for a brush fire. Commissioner Stiefel was command on the initial response there. Basically what it was is 2 of the local residents were having an issue, and they decided that they were going to light off the backwoods heading towards the pond on the property. So that was quite the interesting scenario. Upon leaving the property, one of the other locals decided to somehow attach themselves to the ladder on Rescue 42 as it was going down the driveway. So Commissioner Wilson was the operator of that. He managed to get the truck stopped. By the time he got out the door, it was deep in the so basically what I'm liking to do, or proposing to do, is I think it's time we have a sit down with Vanderheiden administrators, just have a little bit of a discussion about what goes on up there. I'm also, a couple of years ago was when they decided to jump on the hood of the chief's truck when it was in the news roll. So, I think it's that time of year we need to sit down and have a discussion about.
When you have that sit down, I agree with you, it's warranted. You maybe have to participate in that also. Just,
Maybe.
we have emergency vehicles responding and.
Yeah, we also have an issue there with the police that I've had several conversations with Chief Keyburn that when we go to Vanderheiden, there needs to be a police car there. And that hasn't been happening. So we need to have that conversation again.
You need us to reach out to Chief Hebron or?
No, I think we'll be good. It's just I want to make the board aware that's what's going on.
Any help, Holly?
To talk about the saga of services with Rescue 42 and Truck 42 is probably gonna take about an hour. But basically the truck is over at Bulldog now, getting its annual checkup. The rescue truck completed its annual checkup, but it had some underlying issues to address. So we're in the process of both.
We'll hold up on the purchase till, we're doing the FDs. Yeah, Chief's report. Chief Klug.
Perfect. Got the calls, we do have some purchases in there. I think we got one set of gear, 3 sets of boots, some EMS supplies. President Steer did an excellent thorough report, so he basically reported on half the stuff I have on my sheet, so. The only thing is the Pleasantville Parade is their 100th anniversary. We did have interest in it, so it's the 13th. We'll be probably sending a truck down for the parade. So just to give the district a heads up. We had another reversal this month, so we're up to 3. Ryan French from the NGAA, he contacted me a week or so ago. I think he's trying to get something to have the town do something for him. So, especially the one with Kim and Mike Lashman. So there's something brewing with that. Not sure what's going on with it yet. We are having the same issues with the PD. I've got a list of stuff to contact Chief Kieran about. One of them is one of the tow services for the town that's on the list is absolutely ridiculous. So we had a rollover accident on Saturday. It's absolutely insane. So if we need assistance from the district, which we may, we will let you know. I mean, they're not going to most of the calls that they've gone to in the past. You're not getting an officer on those calls. So, I mean, we've had calls where we're looking for a PD unit. Can't find a PD unit. So it's not because they're busy. I think it's a different plan in place, I think, with the PD right now. So.
Gotcha.
Rescue 9 is still out of service. I think we're on week 4 now. Wait for parts for that beautiful canning meat. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, we got, as you see, the funded purchase here, $14,635.44. Looking at it, she's really about to spend a lot of anything this year, so. Any questions on the purchases? If they have a chance to review them? So just need resolution for the purchases. So those all. Second by Dan. Resolution by Dan. Roll call. Nick.
Aye.
Brian. Aye. Dan. Seems. All right, let's see where we're at. Committees, apparatus and equipment. Nick.
So we had a truck 42 committee meeting on May 9th. Just discussed many options. Lease versus buying, what manufacturer out there. Still trying to track down field trips to go, see some ladder trucks, but Unfortunately, there's just not that many ladder trucks in the area, so. Commissioner French being out of the country this month, we decided to skip a month and take a break and everybody re-energized and we'll be reconvening again in July. Here it goes. It's July 25th at 7 p.m. So.
Also, I know Danny saw it, there's a stuff in demo up here, it was kind of interesting, he said Skodak. Right, that's what he said. Kind of interesting. Yes, Rep. Brian, equipment, very none. Building and grounds, myself and Chris, I really don't have anything. Here, we kind of covered the building already. Unless I'm missing something, bottom is kind of a normal status quo month.
Yeah.
The ordinary.
The only thing here is the HVAC PM was done for here, and what little we're doing at Wyanskill, that was done like a week and a half ago, no issues.
So, district personnel, Dan, so. Finance, insurance, and audit, Dan and Nick. And you in a minute. Sorry.
I have nothing much on this.
Yeah, back in March, I passed out the annual report, and there was an unexpended balance of $35,539. And there was an email sent by our CPA firm to the Office of the State Controller regarding an accounting function that I performed. And the CPA believes it's correct. They just want to get verification from the Office of the State Controller. Still has not heard back from them. So I would just like to maybe make a resolution. Generally, we move this money to capital reserve. So if you want to move it to capital reserve equipment, I think is what we were discussing in our long-term planning committee meetings. Pending final approval by final feedback from the Office of the State Controller, so move it to capital reserve equipment. So a resolution to do that.
It's probably not a bad idea too. We just look at the maintenance budget. I think once the bills come in for Rescue 9, Truck 4-2, we're about to spend our $105,000 for the year. So we're like at 80 something with the last batch of bills, so. Need a resolution.
I'll make the resolution. This makes sense.
Resolution by Nick, second by Dan, roll call.
Nick,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Dan.
Aye. So, resolution carries. Long range planning. Excellent. Policy procedures, members did. No. LoSAP.
Nothing.
Same member. President's chiefs, anything for LoSAP? So. Business operations and technology, Dan and Nick. Development plan review. Nick, chiefs.
Small stuff, but bigger stuff.
We just funny at drawings for the, we already talked about that fast food restaurant in Glenmore, unknown name, but nothing earth shattering about that. We already discussed that one. Just it shows the exit on Route 4. You pass the median where they'll be making left turns, kinds of more happen.
There's also that Coles one with exit from Coles is right there in the same spot.
It's just that's getting worse and worse down
Yeah.
in that whole area. Fireman operations, Rich, Chris. Looking for fireman operations. Recruitment and retention, Rich, Chris. I have nothing to add. That being said, public session, anything for public session?
The only thing that I left out of my report, I know last month I had reported, I sent a letter to the North Holland Central School District regarding the cardiac arrest of, where the Lashmans were part of it, Jim Robertson, who's a school nurse up there. I've been in contact with the superintendent's office and the director of communications for the district. They're actually going to be honoring Kim on Monday, the 17th at a school board meeting. So myself and Assistant Chief Kroll plan to attend that. They asked us to be present, so
Nice.
it's a nice thing that Kim's a former firefighter with the department of the district, and their dad is. So it'll be a nice honor for her.
Oh, that's excellent. No public session? Hearing nothing, motion to adjourn. Motion by Nick, second by Dan with a smile. Thank you all.
Connections in Philadelphia.